is called, when a destructor or finalizer is called. And the destructor or finalizer is called when an instance of a class is destroyed. When an instance of a class, a destructor or a finalizer is called when an instance of a class is destroyed. Already I said you, when the instance of a class is destroyed. Now we'll get a doubt. What is the doubt? Two doubts will come. One, who will destroy the instance of a class? First doubt will be who will destroy the instance of a class, and second doubt will be when will the instance of a class destroyed? When the instance of a class is destroyed. Are you guys clear? First question, who will destroy the instance of a class? Any answer? Who will destroy the instance of a class? Guys, can anyone answer this question? Who will destroy the instance of a class? We don't do that because it's automatic memory management. We already know we don't destroy the instance of a class. We only assign null. Assigning null is only dereferencing, not destroying. Are you answering? Who will destroy the instance of a class? Are you alive? Garbage collector, yeah, foolish fellows. Garbage collector, I already given you hint also. Automatic memory management, so we don't do. When I said question is, when will garbage collector destroy the instance of? When is it going to destroy the instance of a class basically? Okay, so now the question will be, when will garbage collector destroy the instance of a class? That is the question. Garbage collector can destroy the instance of a class. Garbage collector can destroy the instance of your particular class in three different scenarios, guys. Garbage collector can destroy the instance of a class in three different scenarios. What are three different scenarios? The first scenario, when will garbage collector destroy the instance of a class is, first one, in the end of a program's execution. The first scenario when garbage collector will destroy the instance of a class is in the end of a program's execution. In the end of a program's execution, garbage collector will be destroying the instance of a class. Are you clear? In the end of a program's execution, garbage collector will be destroying the instance of your particular class. That is the first point. Second, sometimes in the middle of a program's execution, when the memory is full, sometimes in the middle of a program execution, when the memory is full, garbage collector will come into picture, identify the unused objects and destroys it. Garbage collector comes into picture, identifies the unused objects and destroys it. Third scenario, we can force the garbage collector. Means a developer can force the garbage collector to come into picture and destroy the unused objects. To come into picture, identify and destroy the unused objects. I repeat again. There are three different scenarios here. First one, end of the program's execution. End of the program's execution. Garbage collector comes into picture. In the end of program's execution, garbage collector comes into picture, identifies the unused objects, and destroys them. When will this happen? End of the program's execution, garbage collector comes into picture and destroys all the objects that are associated with the program. Did you understand this point? Everything can be destroyed now. End of a program, everything can be destroyed, guys. Second scenario, listen to this second scenario. Sometimes in the middle of a program, garbage collector comes into picture implicitly. In the program and destroys them. I repeat, sometimes in the middle of the program, garbage collector comes into picture implicitly, identifies the unused objects and destroys them. Got my point? Okay, third scenario. Sometimes in the middle of a program, we can call the garbage collector explicitly. So that it will identify the unused objects and destroys it. Did you understand the difference between 2 and 3? In 2, what I said, you garbage collector comes into picture implicitly. In 3, garbage collector can be called explicitly. Who will call? We will call. We will call the garbage collector. And whenever it comes, it will do the same thing only. Identify the unused objects and destroys it. Do you understand, guys? I will show you practically. I will show you all these things practically. Did you understand the scenarios first? Okay, I will show that practically. But guys, a small issue now. You are working with a .NET Core project, right? We are working with a .NET Core project. Unfortunately, there is a small drawback, guys. What is the drawback, you know? In Core project, don't know why they restricted it. In .NET Core, guys, I did answer it. Visual Studio was built with SMC language. Okay, somewhere it was present here. I just could not find it. Basically, the drawback is in Core we cannot see the execution of a finalizer, guys. In Core we cannot see the execution of this particular finalizer. Okay, so that's one problem what we. So if at all you want to understand about the finalizers, we require to create a .NET framework project. If at all we want to understand the finalizers, we require to create a .NET framework project. Okay, .NET framework project. I did not get you. It was in previous talk. So what I require to do is I require to open a framework project, guys. Watch it, eh? Create a new project. Which page? Which page, Rahul? Okay, in the document what I opened, it was present, huh? Okay, I just missed it somewhere, I think. I just missed up. Yeah, it is mentioned there. If you see, Rahul, can you put the URL of that? Can you put the URL of it? URL of it. Guys, it's a C# project. Go for console. Go for console. And select a .NET Framework project. Okay. I'm naming the project as Finalizers project. I will save in our own folder C#9 and click on the create. Rahul, URL of the page. Yeah, this is a project, guys. This is a Finalizer project. And guys, it's a framework project. This is a framework. This opened a framework project. In framework project, see, we don't have like right click edit project file won't be there. We don't have edit project file here. Then how, sir? Directly go to properties, and in the properties, we can set the startup object here. We can set the startup object here. Are you guys clear? We can set the startup object of which class to run. You will not be finding up the startup object. Edit project file will not be there. The framework project. So all we're working with core now. Here I'm showing you framework also. Am I clear? Here I'm showing you framework also. I'm showing you, for example, I'm showing you one framework project. So I will show you finalizers here. I will show you finalizers for you at this particular place. Where is it? In remarks section, the bottom. After note. Yeah, this one I missed. In .NET framework applications, finalizers are also called when the program exits, but not in .NET core applications. We cannot see that in the core applications, guys. We cannot see that in the core applications. I don't know why they restricted that, but we cannot see that in the core applications. So that's why I opened a framework project. So next class in this framework project, I will demonstrate you the finalizers. Are you clear, guys? Next class in this project, I will demonstrate you finalizers. Okay, now? Okay, guys. So Monday I will continue, and Monday I will explain you the things. I opened a project. I will write the code and I will show you. Bye, guys. Yeah, start watching multi-threading videos. Don't forget. Start watching multi-threading videos.